Hello, Libra. This is your March reading, 2017. Yes, I already did a general reading, and this is another general reading. The main focus during my shuffling was for singles loves, but that's not all I got, okay? So we have a little bit of like a creative career type of reading, as well as a love reading. And then there's a little bit of family thrown in there. I have my window open on this beautiful Shabbat, so I apologize for any noise you may hear. There may be times where I'll have to stop talking just because I have loud neighbors outside. All right, while I was shuffling, two cards fell out. Okay, Three of Swords in reverse, Ace of Wands in reverse. And then when I was shuffling Romance Angel Oracles, this card popped out, Getting to Know Each Other in reverse. Then I pulled four cards, four clarifiers. At the bottom of the spread card deck, I got the Moon upright. At the bottom of the clarifying deck, I got the World reversed. So let's focus on those for a little bit. I'll pretend I didn't see that because that has nothing to do with our reading. All right, the Moon upright. Here we have dreams, okay? Sometimes it's about truth being revealed, about an illusion. A dream lover. Also miscommunication as far as love goes. And I do see a lot of miscommunication in this reading. But I also see dreams in this reading. The next card is the World reversed. World reversed, I think of no accomplishments, being stuck, unfulfilled, incomplete, maybe unobligated in some instances. For those who are thinking of relationships, feeling insignificant, like not meaning the world to someone. As far as a creative career, again, being insignificant, you want to stand out as a star. Also, being stuck in the past, and there was some kind of adventure that got abandoned. Okay. Also could be, a cycle's almost complete, but just not yet. Again, it could also be world being turned upside down. The only other sorrow card I really see here is the Three of Swords in reverse, okay? So that might be in the past. This is going to be first week of March, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. And this is the 5th or 4th of March. So I think that extends all the way to the 7th of March as your first week. First card is Seven of Wands in reverse. So this tells me at some point you were defensive, possibly a teacher with the World over here, but you're not anymore. So either you're not defensive or you no longer have the advantage in something, and your past efforts aren't making you feel successful. Thus, you're here for this reading. I like to give happy readings, okay? So if I see one, I will definitely tell you about it. But most of the time, people aren't here for happiness. They're here for knowledge, and they end up getting happy from the knowledge they get. But here, you're struggling, you're battling. For some it's money, for some it's a relationship, for some it's a career. But here, ta-da! We're not struggling anymore. We've given up our spot as King of the Hill. Maybe we saw that King of the Hill wasn't really what we wanted to be anyway. Here, this is having not decided on an action yet. But here, yep, you've decided. And it's probably to leave your spot, no longer be assertive. Or you could just be feeling weak and not wanting to be a part of a competition. Some people just like to leave the rat races, so to speak. So if you've been like a celebrity of some sort, you may decide to step out of the limelight. If you're a really big person at your job, you may decide to step down. But this says you can be your own worst enemy as far as not being assertive If you hesitate, you might regret it and you need to confront something head on. You could also just be scared of success, scared of failure. I mean, those can be, it's just that idea like, oh, it's either I fail or I succeed. You know, that's the scary thought. You have to take that step, especially when you see this card. You might think it's a losing battle because, you know, you are your own worst enemy. I see some low self-esteem, okay? And also, when this card's upright, I see, you know, you get your desire and then you realize, oh, I didn't really want it the way I thought I did. You know, faced with the reality. And we did have the moon, which is illusions, okay? So hopefully that's not the case since it's in reverse. Or it could just be that you have that to the extreme. Like you got it, what you wanted, and you didn't want it. And it's just, that's like a really big thing for you. But you're just kind of giving up. Maybe a little overwhelmed. Too protective of yourself. And so you are hesitating. You don't want to be hurt. And you could be a little embarrassed. See, this is not wanting to be hurt. So maybe, even though you're embarrassed, you're going to drop your defenses and be vulnerable, which is good news. But that could be a reason why you're here at this reading. Like, okay, I'm vulnerable now. Over here at the moon, I'm vulnerable. Help me out. Just pure terror and fear and paranoia. Okay, clarifying the 7 of Wands, we have the 5 of Wands. I'm just going to let you know that comes up twice in your reading. Here it's upright. Later on in the 4th week, it's reversed. All right, so 5 of Wands. Being upright, there's a competition again. So we do giving up a competition and then having a competition. But we have 2 competition cards next to each other. This one you feel like everybody's against you, but not anymore. Could be like a team spirit. And here, it's like play fighting, like a competition or a sport. Also struggling for riches for some of you. Getting new desires. You no longer doubt yourself. You just have a new desire to do something different. And it's not an irrational decision. It's you really thought about it. You could be having creative conflicts. Yeah, for those of you in the creative field, you may have this creative block, so to speak. It's nothing serious, like a real out, you know, if there's this 5 of Swords fighting type of thing. It's just a creative block and it's stressing you out a little bit. And you want it to be unblocked. Like here, I need to get out of here. And here, things are okay. So you want to get out of this creative block. You want to be in a competition of some sort, or you just happen to be in one. And it could be that's you leaving a competition. Because you want to stand out. You don't want to have to compete with anybody. You want people to see you and just know, yeah, that's the one. That's the it factor we're looking for. Oh gosh, I just sounded like the X factor. I apologize. But I do see a little bit of that in here as far as the creative route, like somebody wanted to be a star and having an audience and performing. I do see that. So some of you may have been on a reality TV show. I mean, I don't know if there's a card for reality TV, but if it were, it'd probably be in here somewhere. If there is one, let me know, because I haven't heard about that. I don't really delve too much into reality TV. Sorry, I'm going to take this thingy off. You probably see me wear these Band-Aids and stuff. It's because when I shuffle and hold the cards, it's just my skin gets real sore. I don't know if you guys have to deal with that at all or not, but I may just be a baby or something. I'm a big baby. I'm a Cancer, so. All right, so 5 of Wands upright. It's really funny because this card is ruled by Saturn, which is responsibilities, duties, obligations, as well as success, okay? But Saturn is ruled by the world. Ooh, okay. So somebody really may be stepping out of the spotlight. And again, they could be stepping out from teaching. Like, there's just too much stress and attack in the field of education. And I actually can see that because I am a teacher, and I realize it's very hard on the teachers, working so many hours and not being appreciated and not getting everything that you had once thought might happen as a teacher, not getting to see all the inspiration you thought you would, or just not being appropriately compensated, feeling like maybe people are against you. There's all kinds of things out there, whether it's on a reality TV show, being a teacher, being a writer. There's a lot of creativity in here because we have 4 wands card. Oh no, 5, because we did have that Ace of Wands over here in reverse, which talks about releasing a long-held dream. So some of you may have decided to leave because you got a little bit too much criticism from someone who didn't know you very well, and you had to let go of a long-held dream. And with that other card that popped out, getting to know you in reverse, or getting to know each other, the person who gave you too much criticism, probably they didn't know you, okay? But then again, I wouldn't want to feed an idea if somebody's criticism was true. For instance, I think of that show Family Guy with Stewie, and he loses like American Idol or something, or he doesn't make his audition. And he's like, I'm gonna be back. You're gonna see my name in lights. That I'll see a little bit of that in here, okay? Not to be cruel or anything, okay? Okay, so we have 2 Wands cards. Let me think about that a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, just with 7 of Wands in general, it talks about fight and competition. And possibly just not being patient about what's going on with this competition. You just on out leave. And you're trying to have your individuality. That's probably why you leave. You want to outdo your rivals. You want to outdo yourself. This also talks about like every little thing is getting on your nerves. As a teacher, I sometimes read this story. My very first year teaching, I read this book called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. I don't know if any of you remember that. Where, he wakes up and he realized he had gum in his hair. And then he gets out of bed and he steps on a toy truck or something and it hurts his foot. And then, he goes to brush his teeth and something else happens. So I see that with the 5 of Wands. Like, you are Alexander in the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. I think a movie about that came out recently. Okay. Anyway. There could be some minor setbacks. But everybody who is working possibly as a team or, trying to work as a team, but, it's just not happening. Everybody's purposes aren't meshing. They're not being integrated. And so there's no serious work getting done. This project just isn't happening. It's not getting off the ground. And so also, it could just be working so hard on something and it's not showing any kind of fruitfulness. You're more worried about not making a mark. You want to recover from this rat race. You want to make a mark and stand out from others. But you enjoy your playtime. You think it's valuable. And you want to incorporate your fun hobbies into your overall success, possibly as a career. And that's your new desire. And I see that with the Star card in the next week and with the Moon and Wands. I see wanting to take something creative and fun that you like to do and make it into a career so you stand out and you become a star. Maybe a star in your field. Either way, a star is just somebody who stands out, possibly an entertainer, especially with the Page of Pentacles. I'm surprised we didn't get the Page of Cups, but that's okay. That's your new desire. And you may struggle to gain, but you don't mind as long as it's something that you want. For some of you in love, I talked a lot about, careers, but you may just, as in love, you may just want to stand out from the other people. For singles, You think the market is too competitive right now and you don't have what it takes. You don't stand out like a star. For couples, you could just be having lots of fights and you're thinking about leaving because it's just a lot. You think, I need to just stand out, go out on my own. Okay. It'd be less stressful because they're just irritating the fuck out of me. And singles, you could just be irritated because you're like, oh, every date I go on, it's just terrible. So instead of being incidental, it's just like a few dates and then it's just nothing happens. So then it can feel incidental, like they didn't even matter. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune in your third week and the Five of Wands. Remember, Five of Wands is very important to your whole reading because you got it twice. And also, just so you know, fives, the number 5, since we have it twice, means impermanence. Something's temporary, okay? Let me turn that Wheel of Fortune back over because it was upright and we like that. Standing out again, okay? So in that third week of March, you may get the opportunity to stand out with some accidental good fortune, good luck, whatever. Maybe not even accidental, maybe it's on purpose because you set out on your own. And with the Moon card over here and these, I see that you are going to explore your creative individuality. So that might mean you leave a relationship. Not necessarily. I see this mostly as a career in the creative arts. But then again, it could also be that talent, like an X Factor type of talent. Or just some kind of a new business where you're an entrepreneur. Okay, and then the Page of Pentacles clarifies it, and they're next to each other, so I really like that. I mean, you are really focused on getting the money, but also being a performer, standing out from the crowd. And you're going to reinvent yourself in the second week of March, okay, because you want to stand out. You don't want to be like everybody else. If you've recently left a partnership that was really passionate or maybe a little too fiery in regards to tempers, you leave and then you have to reinvent yourself because you lost your identity in the process. And with the Three of Swords, the relationship could have ended previously, okay, due to some miscommunications. And you're just all about recovering, trying to heal yourself. But I see that perhaps somebody's criticism hurt your feelings. Or just something happened in your relationship or in the creative field where you didn't stand out from the crowd. Okay, somebody may not have chosen you in the dating world or just in a creative outlet, and it hurt your feelings. And you haven't really recovered from it yet. You're trying to. And you're not cutting to the issue to resolve it. You're just masking on the outside, but on the inside you're a mess. And again, Three of Swords is ruled by Saturn, which is responsibilities, obligation, and success. And it's ruled by Saturn when with the world in Libra. Okay, so that's, like, we have 2 world cards. And they're in Libra. So that is the only way that you have actually come through so far in your sign. I mean, we have an Aquarius, but I don't see Libra in here. Unless I've forgotten what Libra is. And in Pisces, Aquarius. Surely the Three of Swords is not your card. I would be very sad about that. Libra. Is it Justice? Was that you guys? I'm trying to remember. It was Justice. Okay. Sorry, I had a blank mind for a moment. And we did not have Justice in here. So we don't have your card. But there's just some kind of deep emotional pain. Possibly a past abusive relationship. And then obviously, just, you want to stand out really badly. So this could be neglect. You felt like you were neglected. You were overlooked. You weren't seen. Also, this is bad communication, never heal, blocked grief. And you might reject someone or reject an opportunity just to prevent being rejected yourself because you haven't dealt with it. So if you've left something because somebody criticized you or there were ideas that weren't integrated, then it could be just those hurt feelings you're rejecting before you get rejected. All right, next we have the Star card in the second week of March. With the Star card, I see wanting to stand out, wanting to be a star, getting recognition, as well as wanting to heal or having healed or being in the process of recovery. And this is the only cup kind of card that we have, okay? So there's not a whole lot of emotion here. It's mostly creativity and passion and a little bit of money. Oh, well, I guess we do have the moon. It's a little bit. And the moon and the star in the same reading. I like it. Talk about creating your fun hobbies into your world, into your success. And with the moon, I just talked about that. It's talking about you're going to get valuable insight. Okay, so you left a group, you wanted to stand out, then you get valuable insight. And it's going to be helpful for you and whoever's with you. If you leave and create your own team, or if you took somebody with you, it could be helpful for those in your relationship. And then remember, right after that star, that brilliant idea, that inspiration, bam, you reinvent yourself. Okay. The third week, we have the King of Wands in reverse. So this tells me being scared to take that entrepreneurial step. Because here he's like, has his hand on his thigh, and he's like, I'm about to get up and go with this idea. And then it's in reverse. So it could be you're going to do that, but you're just kind of blocked right now because there hasn't been a healing yet. I see you could have been, or you could be, with someone who's good. They're just a little severe, but they're still tolerant. They're just a little severe in what they do. Could be a lack of passion. That could be you don't feel motivated to do something, so you're not doing it. You could be seeking freedom. Yeah, okay, so some of you, you're actually lacking ambition. The others of you are seeking freedom, and you have a lot of ambition, a lot of drive, and nothing's going to stand in your way. And this drive is really attractive about you. It's something that's attractive about you. It could be seen a little bit as arrogance, but it's mostly just being severe. But you still have those good qualities and still tolerant, so we can put up with you. Your ego is a little bit in check, okay? If this is representative of a person that you're interested in, then it talks about they are not settling down and give up hopes of true love and devotion. Okay. I do want to bring up, while I was shuffling, two cards kind of stuck out a little bit, but didn't seem very significant. But I did look just in case. We had the Knight of Wands upright, which again reminds me a little bit of the King of Wands. But he's very flighty. He also moves, like travels overseas. And I can see that with the World. Also, he's like a one-night stand. But he's also very passionate and charging on, against all his criticism, and he's scattering his enemies, and he's trying to make it. Sometimes he runs into his ruin, okay? But overall, he was upright, so that's a little bit better than if he were in reverse. And with the Three of Swords, it talks about a love triangle. And we do have the Three of Swords in reverse. So I think you got out of a love triangle, but still, you were in one at some point. And you're trying to recover from this. I also see that you feel like you no longer have these options anymore. Like this would be someone in the middle choosing between two people, and like those options are no longer available anymore. It could be that your love interest, no longer wants those other people. They understand who they're supposed to go for. It's so strange because we have the moon, but it's not in reverse. If the moon was in reverse, we talk about losing a loved one. I don't think it means to death. I think it means just somebody not being there, like a breakup. And this is like the breakup card, but still dealing with it. Or like a permanent breakup. Then we have the world, and if the world's in reverse, it's supposed to talk about losing a loved one. So if this was in reverse, it would say definitely losing a loved one. But they're giving me conflicting messages. So take from that what you will. Maybe you're going to lose one person but gain another. So it is what it is. Sometimes you guys have to do a little bit of the interpreting because I'm an outsider coming in. Okay. Now with the Wheel of Fortune, it could talk about you have empty pockets, but then you have some luck and you get more money. Depending on where this card is in the reading. It just popped out, so I don't know if it's past, present, or future. So it could be, you had a turn of luck, and then you had empty pockets because, you left a job, and you're worried about this endeavor, and you feel like you're not going to have money. That could be a good worry right there. So there's a lot of things that could be happening with this. But also, you may be getting an apology, or you may, like if somebody was too critical of you, no matter what situation it is, you may be getting an apology, and your lover may want to return. They know who to go for now, or you know who to go for now. Clarifying King of Wands. Again, we have Wheel of Fortune upright. Also, let me just bring up the King of Wands for a second. This card is about exhilaration at being the one, whether that's being the one who's standing out on this new endeavor or being with the one as far as in a relationship. It seems like that's missing. Like that exhilaration, that climax that you're looking for, it didn't happen. Probably because they're not the one. Or this is just really intense exhilaration at being with the one. So reversals are tricky because you have to know which one it is. And I'm giving you both so you can see yourself in this reading. Also, this says you need an audience, but you may not have one. And you think the current struggles may not be worth it. And clarifying that with the Wheel of Fortune, I see that, well, it could be saying that you are going to have that audience and the struggles will be worth it because you have a really good turn of luck. You do end up having a soulmate, somebody who's destined for you. Your wishes are granted. The universe is taking action for you. You're just, for those of you who are single or you're just broken up, you're temporarily single or you're temporarily out on your own. Could be a lover from a different country, seeing as how we have the world over here. But I also see this as ending an old way of life. Because remember, it's right next to the Page of Pentacles, and it talks about reinventing yourself. And you did have a really good inspiration, possibly recovering. So you may be leaving an old way behind, possibly leaving this Three of Swords behind. You came out of a love triangle, and you left a group. You left an opposition, you left a competition. That makes a lot of sense. And then got an idea, some inspiration, healing. You reinvented yourself, and just a little scared to take that step. Exhilaration at being the star, being with the one, the soulmate. And this can clarify, yes, they're your soulmate, this new person. Not the old person, new person. It could be that you came out of a love triangle, you finally decided who was right for you. And you weren't sure if they were the one, but they were. So whoever you picked was the right one. Or whoever you will pick in the third week of March is the right one. But this is, you can't plan a soulmate meeting. Okay, you just can't plan it. You can't plan it like the world. Or Saturn, like we've been talking about. And the person who's your soulmate is probably the person you can't forget. We all know who those people are. All right, let's go into the 4th week. We have the 5 of Wands in reverse now. Okay, so first week we were upright, now we're in reverse. So the good fortune that we got, yeah, looks like it ended a conflict. It could have ended a competition like a love triangle. Sometimes this talks about fights. Could be talking about a divorce, maybe. I would think more so if we had justice, but this talks about litigation. Being overly defensive. If this is the other person, talks about the reluctance to open up or to be with you. Could be their issue and not yours. And says to be patient. One of you is in need of soul searching. But this is the opposite of breakup. So somebody may be uniting. You may have moved past a conflict and you're stronger now, especially because you got an apology. Clarifying 5 of Wands in reverse. We have 10 of Pentacles. Oh, also just saying, if you didn't end a conflict, you're at least avoiding a conflict. You could be avoiding this topic right here. And again, for somebody who thinks they can't stand out and they're scared of that chance, this is saying luck is on your side. You have good fortune. Okay? The universe is stepping in for you. So there's no reason not to take that scary step in whatever endeavor you're wishing. But it says you feel like you have no faith to win. Low self-esteem again. See, here you had some self-esteem. And it's like it vanishes at something. It could just be your inspiration. Also, for some of you, you may be doubting yourself about if you've made the right choice or if you're able to perform. Also talks about losing your individuality. So you tried to stand out and then perhaps something happens and you think there's so little faith that you can win, you just lose your individuality and you may give up. And I just want to mention this because these two guys together, they talk about theft. This is somebody being tricky, and this is robbery, theft. Also talks about being tricky, and then a bad investment, and then being worried about money. So be careful. I saw that, and I just wanted to let you know, because they are clarifying each other. And then with the 5 of Wands, it also just talks about family conflicts. But you may be coming out of family conflicts. Looks like it might be over and you're coming out of it. You're being extracted out of that conflict. And it could be the 3 of Swords. You just had a breakdown in communication. And with the Ace of Wands, you may be waiting for an opportune time to do something. That's why you haven't made your entrepreneurial move. But it's in reverse. So it makes me think that you think there is no right time, or you lost an opportunity, and you're just going to let go of this long-held belief. But this says, creativity is going to unlock your creativity. Creativity is going to unlock your dream, especially when you have the World But the thing is, they're both in reverse. So you are having this creative block. Remember, you're going to get some inspiration. Okay, you're going to reinvent yourself. So don't be worried about no accomplishments or being unfulfilled. Maybe you get what you want with this Wheel of Fortune. And then in reverse, this can talk about you got what you wanted, and then it kind of lost its appeal. I can see that with the Seven of Wands and the World in reverse. Just anticlimactic. So we have 2 anticlimactic cards. Getting what you want. We had 3 get it what you want cards. And then 3, just, it wasn't what you wanted. So maybe you get famous, or you get that relationship you thought was going to be your soulmate, and it was just normal everyday life. Boring. No passion. Because we have at least 3 wand cards in reverse. And 1 upright. Also, with the 5 of Wands, I don't think it matters if it's up or down. It just talks about gathering people from different cultures. And then when I had the Queen of Swords come through while I was shuffling, I had the Knight of Wands, which means traveling abroad, moving, and quick action about creativity. I saw the Queen of Swords in reverse. So with the World, that tells me you may not be stepping up in a career. That doesn't mean not going up, it just means you're not stepping up to the plate. You would be Strength in reverse with this card. I mean, with the World and the Queen of Swords in reverse. And also with that Knight of Wands, I just talked about moving, going overseas. It's fun. You've got the Moon in reverse underneath the World in reverse. Oh my goodness. It does talk about losing a loved one in that instance. But we just have 2 moon cards next to each other. One's in reverse and one's not. All right, let me think about that. I hate seeing cards when I'm not supposed to. Okay. You have Dream Lover and then not Dream Lover. So again, you had this long-held desire and it lost appeal. You go from being stable to unstable. But then you could be, you're fearful and paranoid, but then you just could release that, okay? But you feel like you're unable to change or move on. Again, with the World, these 2 clarify each other. Not being able to move on. But both this card and that one and... oh, what's the other one? 5 of Wands, which is in both your 2 of them in your reading. They all talk about listen to your dreams. Listen to your intuition. That might be where your creative inspiration comes from. That might be... you may have a dream of your soulmate. You may dream of how to get your career that you want, how to incorporate your hobby as a successful career. But then, this Ace of Wands talks about, losing that appeal with that desire. And with the 5 of Wands, I see, and with the 7 of Wands, your ideas weren't integrating with some group or with some relationship. Then 5 of Wands turns in reverse. So that tells me, I think you've integrated your ideas. Like people who are fighting, they're going to come together and they're going to agree on some kind of a solution or some kind of idea. Possibly the one that could be your good fortune going into the 4th week. You get an apology from a lover or from family. And everybody starts integrating their ideas. So here it's like the Ace of Wands is in reverse. And then here with this reverse card, it's as if this turns right side up. I like it. Good news. Because, with this 10 of Pentacles clarifying, this talks about getting out of a conflict, getting out of a family argument. Okay. Or it just could be, being passive, no longer invested in your plight of whatever it is, whether it's family, love, or business. Because we have Pentacles as business. We have family, because this is the family card. But it's also the relationship card. So you're getting out of something the 4th week. And maybe it was taking you all this time to get there. Now let me talk about the moon, because it did show up twice, right? One in reverse, one upright. So the way it looks, this talks about an unfamiliar but beautiful new reality. And we did have, changing a way of life based on reinventing yourself, getting that idea, possibly some kind of apology or forgiveness. Because if somebody offers an apology, you need to get that forgiveness back. I see two possibilities because we have these two towers. So you have to make a choice between the job you want, the job you have, between two people. That could also be with the Three of Swords. You also have like the moon and the sun. Okay. This is almost like a rite of passage. Like if you're this lobster, you have to go down this path from the emotional side down to the mountains, which represent stability. If you think of all the gods live on the mountains, think about it as spiritual enlightenment or higher consciousness. But you have to go past and balance yourself between your dog self, which is loyal and sweet, with your wolf self, which may be a little vicious and aloof. You have to balance that in order to go down this path. You have to balance positivity with possible fear and deception. It's close to say, your dream lover, which is this whole card, your dream lover is very positive for you. Something's coming to light and you're going to notice your soulmate, because it's also a truth card. You could just bust an illusion and realize you didn't want to be in the rat race anymore. You want to do something on your own and you want to be creative, because you might be a very, very creative person. I just noticed that. I actually have no idea what that means. For those of you out there, maybe you know. I'm going to research it though. There are 15 little flames of fire. And they look like those, the Hebrew yods. Yods, I can't remember what it's called now. I took Hebrew so long ago. That's what they look like. And there's 15 of them. I think 15 boils down to 6. So it talks about charity and a few other things. But I want to know why that's significant, because I just now noticed that for the first time, and I've been doing readings for a while. Very interesting. But this talks about also your creative path. Your creative block is going to be forgotten with this path that you take. You're going to have a rush of inspiration. So, we have that star over here too. So you're going to have a rush of inspiration. So it's very positive. You're going to have a new muse to follow. Could be a new love. And with the world, which it was right next to, okay. At first you may have thought you were losing touch with reality, or somebody else thought you were. Like, you are not going to be a star, give up on this dream. But it says you weren't really losing touch with reality, you were just understanding how the world works. And the world just hasn't caught up with you yet. Okay? And with the star, again, we have that valuable insight that's going to be valuable to you and other people. You may invent something. I wish we had the magician in here, but, whatever. Maybe the Page of Pentacles could be the invention. Reinventing yourself, get it? Okay. Let me think for a second. Okay, with the Knight of Wands and the Moon, King of Wands and the Moon, sorry. It says you have empathy for your fellow man. Okay. And if your creative endeavor or your relationship causes you to do well for your fellow man, then you're going to get some universal assistance, just like with the Wheel of Fortune. And it looks like you do, because you get it. And it's with the King of Wands. So you're going to get some universal assistance in your endeavor. You're going to be successful if you so choose. But it says you will have to hone in your egomania. With the Seven of Wands, you're going to be able to get people to follow you. You're going to master something. You don't think you can, but you will with this turn of luck. People are going to follow you. They're going to be inspired by you. But you can't be afraid of taking a step. And the Seven of Wands and the star being next to each other talks about your commitment is growing and growing to this idea or to your relationship. Like you want it to be more and more committed. The more you defend your ideals. So this could be talking about being defensive and then being super defensive. And then at the end, you're still super defensive about your ideals. But it could be a relationship. You've been hurt, so I wouldn't be surprised. All right, let's get some of these oracle cards out here for those of you. It's more about creative careers. There's a little bit of love in there. I don't remember what order. I do remember some of the orders, actually. Let me find those. Well, the very first one was the one that popped out, which is not getting to know each other, but you should. I always give advice as the reverse if it applies. If not, it's still the reverse. Okay, here's the first one. You don't think you deserve love, so you need to fix that. Because the very next card was soulmate. Your soulmate's coming. So you need to feel like you deserve love because that could help call them in. Disconnect from the world, and I see that because the world's in reverse. So you're retreating from a group, retreating from a relationship, just disconnecting from all that, and that's probably going to be after you meet your soulmate. But you're going to have to forgive somebody and learn from it. You have to let go of the past hurts that you had in order to grow and move on. So this pain that you never dealt with, you're going to have to let go of it. Forgive, because this is an apology. Somebody's apologizing. And again, when somebody apologizes, you have to forgive. That's the noble thing to do. And mostly it's for yourself, too. You will no longer have unrequited love. And dealing with family, you're going to heal some family conflicts, as in the 4th week of March. So forgive your parents. Forgive your in-laws. Forgive whoever you need to. It doesn't have to be parents. Family's family. And it'll help your love life. Whoever it is worth waiting for. So that soulmate may not be coming very soon, okay? Maybe you have a chance meeting with them in the 3rd week of March, but you don't recognize it yet. Divine timing is at work in your love life. Yeah. And with the Ace of Wands, talks about waiting for the right time. So it's worth waiting. But trust me, when you guys get together at the right time, it's going to be this. Okay, and I see lots of sex. Okay. But you're not releasing your ex. Now normally, I would say this is don't release them for some people. But I don't see any reconciliation cards really. Sometimes the 3 of Swords in reverse can be, but not always. Yeah, I don't see going back to anybody. So this is telling me just you're not releasing them. And that may be why you have the 3 of Swords in reverse. And that's the past you have to let go of. And then in the end, you're not having heart-to-heart conversations. And that's how you're going to heal wounds in the family and relationships. That's how it's going to work out. Okay. All right, now, that was your reading, Libras. But at the end, every now and then, I do the scripture reading where the stone lands. And I really don't remember what it was. So I don't know if it's going to apply or not. I do it at the beginning, and then sometimes that influences the reading and sometimes it doesn't. So Oh wait, I remember some of it. It may apply because we had your endeavor has to help your fellow human beings in order to get universal assistance. It landed on Proverbs 3, and there was like half of verse 28. Because, I mean, it lands here, and there's no spacing, so I just read the whole thing. And the first line is, I'll give it to you tomorrow. And I was like, it says, when you have it with you. I was like, well, that sounds great. I want something tomorrow. That's a really fast reading. Thanks. But then I realized the chapter 3 isn't here, so it's actually a continuation from the previous page. So it's actually Proverbs 3, verse 27 is where everything starts. Do not withhold good from one who deserves it. When you have the power to do it, for them, it clarifies. Do not say to your fellow man, come back again. I'll give it to you tomorrow, when you have it with you. Do not devise harm against your fellow, who lives trustfully with you. Do not quarrel with a man for no cause, when he has done you no harm. Do not envy a lawless man, or choose any of his ways. For the devious man is an abomination to the Lord, but he is intimate with the straightforward. The curse of the Lord is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the abode of the righteous. At scoffers he scoffs, but to the lowly he shows grace. The wise shall obtain honor, but dullards get disgrace as their portion. So I see basically being good to your fellow man, like we saw. And then there was a little bit of theft, robbery with the Five of Wands reversed and the Ten of Pentacles reversed. So this could just be like, don't devise harm against your fellow man who lives trustfully with you. That could just explain your situation. Don't quarrel with somebody for no reason. We had lots of things not meshing. Could be like a family quarrel that really came from nothing. Sometimes the Five of Wands in reverse, I see it as people are fighting with each other and they really don't even know what the origin of the fight was about. So it's like a play fight, an imitation fight, because there's no meaning behind it. It still has the look of a fight, but it doesn't have any meaning. All right, so that was that. Take from it what you can, as well as the general reading, and be happy, Libras.